What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tales from Flipside. Dino is somewhere in the background wrestling a screaming child, so we're going to start without him, and he'll join us later, I'm hoping. I got Chris with me. We're going to talk a little bit of Wolverine Deadpool, some other crossover news, and all the other fun stuff floating around. So, see ya. What's up, man?
Living a dream, my friend. How's it going?
It is great, man. Good week. Hopefully, everyone, all our IT friends, have survived the long weekend and are out of their various messes from Friday. I know my wife was caught in an airport, which was awesome.
Yeah, I feel sorry for anyone who was trying to get anywhere that wasn't flying on, like, what was it, Southwest and a couple other shitty airlines because their systems were so outdated they weren't impacted by the outage.
I saw somewhere, and I don't know if it truly was Southwest, but there was like their Twitter account, or it looked to be their Twitter account, said something like, "You make fun of our one Commodore 64 server in the middle of nowhere, but it stood up today."
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it was somebody who was historically brought down by the issue by having archaic systems. They were brought down in the past. Like, I think, yeah, it was maybe Southwest who had that major
Oh yeah,
issue where it was like, I think during the holiday season. Yeah, it was like right before Christmas, I think. They had that major issue outage and people couldn't get anywhere on Southwest. And that same outdated system is the reason why they were not impacted by the CrowdStrike issue that occurred on Thursday night, Friday morning.
Hey, some days the losers win.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't doubt that they posted on it, because they do tend to have a sense of humor about everything at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, got quite a bit of little things going on here. Not that we haven't talked about this for 10 years going on now, but God dang. This is why Dino needs to be here.
Hey, you get it. There you go.
All right. Some posting of King Spawn going on. I don't think we've had a title before, had we?
No, this is the first time. I mean, it's the first time that we've seen anything that resembles a legit real script. I mean, there's always been like something sitting on somebody's desk with a cover page, but it was always like McFarlane, and then he'd immediately use it to promote, like, King Spawn or Gunsinger Spawn. Like, it was always. I mean, let's be real. Even this could potentially have some of that impact because he's going to be at San Diego Comic-Con all week long. So this just might be another thing to move an exclusive, at the booth.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is about as real as it, because this actually came from Blumhouse and not from any outlet that McFarlane himself controls.
Yeah, it's not him printing it out, at least. So
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, he's had the same 20-second synopsis for the better part of a decade going on. So, I mean, I don't know what it'll ultimately turn into. I would like to give Blumhouse a lot of benefit of the doubt, because they tend to do good things.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody can get it done in that space and for cheap, it is either going to be, Blumhouse or A24. Like, if you need quick, fast, and good horror, like, those are the two companies to get it done.
Yeah, and they're creative. They can do some ideas that are different enough to make sense, though. So I'm gonna still give it the benefit of the doubt and think there's potential. I mean, there's real writers listed. Well, I assume they're real writers. It doesn't just say Todd.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. We got Scott Silver. That name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure where I know Scott Silver from. Let's see. Scott Silver. What have you done? Oh, shit. Okay. So he was a writer on the first and the Joker sequel.
Oh, okay.
The Fighter, 8 Mile, the Mod Squad TV or like movie that they did in like '99. So I mean,
he's got some real things in his resume.
Yeah, and apparently he's got special thanks on Requiem for a Dream. So I mean, he's done some notable stuff. So I mean, can't count him out. He was also this guy was also the director of the Mod Squad. So he wrote and directed that Mod Squad movie that came out in '99. And then the other person, Malcolm Spellman. Let's see what your resume looks like. Oh, I know Malcolm Spellman. I've seen this dude before. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Empire, the Bel Air series. He is an executive producer and writer on that. Empire. So
yeah, he's got some legit stuff going.
Yeah, let's see. What's the other name on there? Matt what? Matt Mixon.
Yeah, I can't read it on this setup.
Matt Mixon. Interesting. A lot of black writers on this. Like so far, 2 out of 3 of these guys are black writers. And I mean,
is that a trend for Blumhouse or no?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, they just kind of use whoever's available. But yeah, I mean, again, a lot of times when you're getting black writers, you're trying to do very black content, and
which would make sense for Spawn. I mean, he's one of those actually story. It's important to it.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the first, leading build, black superheroes of period. I mean, like you had the stuff that was happening over at Milestone, but and it was important, but Milestone stuff never hit the mainstream like the community would have wanted it to. Like if you knew about Milestone, then you were into Milestone, but it always felt, for lack of a better phrase, it always felt a little too militant for mainstream white America to get on board with Milestone. I mean, it definitely leaned into with like Static rocking the X hat, from the Malcolm X that was super popular in the '90s. Characters like, what was the one that they thought
Icon.
Icon, who they thought was a Kryptonian, but he was a former. There's a time period when he was a former slave. I mean, it's just like a lot of stuff in that was, I think, the mass of America was not ready for to be mainstream, and but there were people who were reading it and enjoyed it. But yeah, I think Spawn was the first one where it was like, okay, this has got mainstream mass appeal in a way that we hadn't seen before with a black superhero.
Well, it's one of those where it's important to the character, but it doesn't make the character.
No,
I don't know how to say it best, but it was mass appeal, and it was going to be a win either way. But it tied in very well how it was done.
The blackness did not define the character.
Yes.
And like a Black Panther is like defined by his blackness. That is not necessarily the scenario with Spawn. Like he just happens to be black. Versus, it is a quintessential part of what makes a character. I mean, Storm is another example. It's like, that is a quintessentially black character. I mean, was worshipped as a god in Africa, in the country that she came from, like that whole 9 yards. So this was a story that was just being told about a character who just happened to be black. And I can't think of too many times where, I mean, it definitely popped up a couple of times where it mattered in Spawn's history, but it wasn't like, Spawn's going to go fight the Klan type of situation. So.
No, it was just more tied into his military background and his family and, where he was, but it wasn't like it had to be. So I don't know. Let's hope this is good after all we've been hearing about it. I mean, there was the HBO cartoon that was solid, and then the movie that was, I don't know how to rate it. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's far from good.
I mean, it was your typical 90s superhero film. I mean, it was no better or worse than what else was happening at that time for the most part.
Yeah, it was in the same, probably a notch better than Steel.
Absolutely, yes. Like Steel was absolute garbage. A lot, don't get me wrong, there was trash. Everything that was coming out from was it Canon? Yeah, all the Canon licenses were terrible. The Punisher film, the 2 Captain America films, the never released Fantastic Four film. Canon was making some garbage, but by the time Spawn came out with New Line, we had established a solid Batman movie, a solid Turtles movie, And we were heading in the direction. I mean, and we had had a couple good Batman follow-up sequels actually by that point as well. So
It was more limited by the technology at the time.
yeah, which I mean, they tried. They definitely tried. I remember because that was during that time period of the you were going to get at least like 5 behind the scenes type of documentaries, or not documentaries, but behind the scenes specials that were being made about the making of. And I think one was featured on HBO. Another one was on like either ABC or NBC or CBS or one of those like mainstream television stations of them talking about the special effects and how they wanted the cape to feel like it was alive and the suit to move and all this other stuff. So, I mean, they tried for the times, but
Yeah,
they only had so much money to work with.
Yeah, and even if they did, it was only going to go so far. It just wasn't. It wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Like now they could do that for a very reasonable sum.
Yes.
I mean that's everyday stuff. Think of the cape in Doctor Strange. That's the kind of movement they're looking at.
Yeah, and I mean, I just saw Twisters this weekend, and I mean, I will say that movie had some very solid special effects to it. So yeah, I mean, if they're using a quarter of the budget, they can do some amazing things in this day and age.
It wasn't terrible. You're saying?
I mean, it had its moments of campiness, but
was it a popcorn movie?
Absolutely, it was absolutely a popcorn movie. Couple moments of cheesiness, but it is a solid homage to the original, in my opinion.
Nice.
It was worth the money.
I just got done with. I spent the weekend watching Supercell on Netflix. It's on Netflix, and it's the British one. And it's not a super original story, but it's entertaining enough for 6 episodes. It felt a little bit like Heroes, but not as campy.
Okay.
Definitely had a British twist. So it was worth watching. Let's see. We got Twisted Metal doing some shooting, so I definitely look forward to that one again. Speaking of clowns that are the enemy.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to stay on top of. I need to go back and finish the first season. Like I didn't
finish it.
Well, I didn't have Paramount Plus at the time, and so I saw the one like free episode, and there was a lot I think at the time going on with television that I was just like, I got to watch. I think like that coincided with the first season of House of the Dragon, maybe, or either I think Chucky might have been happening at that same time, and that was something I was like really invested in watching. So
Paramount's one of those you could get for 1 month, clean it out, and move on again.
That's probably the approach I'll take. Is I'll just sign up for the service for like a 1 month or a week and just binge watch all the stuff that I care about.
Yeah, wait till Tulsa King hits again or something,
Yeah.
Another one that I just I caught a glimpse of but didn't really dig into is this one, the Turtles crossover with I'm gonna butcher it because I say it wrong every time. Naruto.
Yes. Yeah. I'm excited about this. I mean, I definitely was like right in that age range of the big 3 being super popular. Like I was a freshman in college. I was senior in high school, freshman in college when Naruto first came on the scene. And so I was watching it like in damn near real time on fan subs that I was downloading in my college dorm room. So yeah, this is definitely, and I mean, I was also a Turtles kid. So these two kind of find a way to mash together will be interesting. I mean, the Batman Turtle stuff was really good. So it will be interesting to see how they pull this off. So
yeah, at least there's some common ground. I've known my only experiences watching it with my kids, so I've secondhand casual viewing and not seeing the whole story, but I get the gist of it. I could see it being an interesting crossover. I'm not sure. I don't know if I know who's writing that one.
I know who is it doing the artwork. It's somebody I follow. He's either done Batman or doing Batman currently. Is doing the art.
Okay.
Let's see. Naruto X TMNT. Oh, it didn't drop until November. Jesus.
Oh wow. So they're just really starting to promote.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it'll be good winter reading. But I could see that one being a good one to catch in a trade.
Yeah, so it's being written by Caleb Goldner, I guess, who's done Sonic the Hedgehog, and written by Hendry Pastrusha, I guess, yeah, who was on Turtles.
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah. But yeah, this cover is George Jimenez. So,
okay. Well, that makes sense. Well, I'm sure if somebody's in Turtles, they probably grew up on both of these as well. So it's probably a project of love more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, Turtles are having a huge resurgence right now. So, strike by the iron side, get people back into Turtles again, because let's be real about it, IDW needs all the wins they can get.
Maybe get a little bit new audience into it too, because there's some potential pull from the other side, definitely.
I mean, definitely. And what's funny is that I feel like there's been a Turtles something for every generation. They kept bringing it back, every chance they got.
They're the new Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. And only occasionally does it get screwed up. Whereas Scooby-Doo, they've definitely screwed the pooch on a couple times.
Oh yeah, definitely a lot of options, and they keep throwing it out. But it's almost an evergreen character at this point, and these guys are approaching that because they're not tied in time so much.
Yeah, I mean, they even did that one crossover some years ago where it was all the different incarnations of the Turtles in one animated movie. So you had their black and white counterparts. You had the Turtles of my childhood television show. You had the Turtles of basically up until the point of this most recent one was the only one that wasn't included. So it was everything before them, and it was like a multiverse event that apparently did pretty well.
Oh, that's fun.
So I'm excited. We'll see how it plays out. It's only 4 issues, so easy enough to read and digest.
The audience wants our opinion on, speaking about moving and exclusive, how about Torpedo and all those JSC variants that mysteriously appeared?
I mean, okay, so I've been loosely following this story with the people who keep posting about it. I mean, retailers are going to do what retailers are going to do. And I mean, yeah, they should definitely be honest and upfront. If they say a book is only XYZ print number, they should only be XYZ print number. Also, looking at the total amount that were stacked on that table, I definitely don't think that was I don't know how many it was, but having stacked up 100 comic books before, I honestly say that didn't look like that was more than probably 200, 250, but I don't know how much that plays into the amount that should have gone out to other people, and then the grand total of the 380 that they said it was going to be. I don't know, but I mean, anytime a book is ever supposed to be an exclusive, how many times in the history of this hobby have 6 months down the road or a year down the road have a bunch of them magically become available for purchase off of whoever's website?
Oh yeah,
including the person we're talking about here with J. Scott Campbell. So many, they keep finding books that were supposed to be limited print runs or were supposed to be sold out from last year's San Diego Comic-Con, the year before that, the Batman exclusives that were supposed to be sold out. I mean, every single time he does a blowout box type mystery box situation, there is stuff in those boxes that was supposed to have been sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever at this point. I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's exclusive, or there's dealers that have tried to make it, no way to cheat the system, but there's always a way to cheat the system, and there's always overprints, and there's always people that don't pay for their orders, or orders that get returned, or they kept some for damages, or sometimes foul play. I've heard all the slimy stories. I've heard all the just innocent stories. You just can't trust it.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, last year at San Diego, I will not, name names, but there were people who had oversold or pre-sold through their Facebook group, and then when people got to the con, there weren't enough books to actually be sold to the public. You know, shit happens. Like people like money, and they're going to do whatever they deem to be in their best interest financially. And yeah, you would hope that people are destroying books because, I mean, let's be real about it. Most printers, I think the minimum order you can get away with at most printers for an exclusive is what, 500 issues?
That's on the little guys usually.
Yeah, that's like an IDW or somebody you've never heard of before. Will let you, like, Vault, you know, 500 is about the minimum. I would like for somebody like Drew from Wanted or the guys from, you know, Hive to chime in on when you're dealing with a Marvel or a DC. But I think it's like minimum.
I think
order
that's
like
closer to 3 to 5.
Yeah, I think it's like 3,000 to 5,000 comics or whatever. So for you to have like a 1,000 print run comic, I mean, you got to be destroying quite a few books, which means you have to charge a sizable markup on the ones that you have to basically make your money.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's other dealers I've heard stories of that, you know, they say they printed 500, but they only sell the first 300 to wait and see what happens with the book in the aftermarket. So it's just everybody's playing games. Some version.
I don't know, man. Like the modern exclusive game, you know, modern variant cover game. I got burnt when I first got a hobby trying to play that game, and so that was the point. I was like, cool, I'm done, moving on. Like, you know, ended up with shit that, you know, even if you got your hands on the book, like if you didn't move that shit immediately, nobody gave. I mean, hell, there's somebody in a Discord right now that we're a part of that has the what is it, the version cover of Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the J. Scott Campbell cover, up for grabs, and people could care less, it seems like.
Yeah.
And that was a book that people would have stabbed their mother over a year ago. And so it's
hot potato.
Yeah.
Hey man, you better post that stuff on the steering wheel right outside the shop.
Yeah, I mean,
account.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to fault anybody from making their money. I mean, do what you do if that's what you're doing to you know, move books. But it's just, you got to move so fast. You got to that's basically it's damn near a full-time job to move modern like ratio variants and stuff like that, because the zeitgeist changes so quickly. Like people are fickle as hell, and what's popping this week, people won't even remember come next.
Well,
there's no attention span.
And the problem too is, like, me and Z know about this. We move the books we think aren't going to be worth anything, and those are the books that are worth $1,000. You know, 4 months later after you got rid of them, right? You know, we just nuclear, like Edge of Spider-Verse 2 when we all sold them for $100, and everybody thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's and then now that every book's got 50 exclusives, it's just not. If it's your game, Godspeed, but you're gonna have to grind that shit out.
Yeah, I mean, Robin King. I mean, pretty much DC for a while there was like the king of this book's hot for maybe 2 weeks to a month tops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of those ratio variants that they had out during that, like Batman, Robin King. So it was like you had the stuff that was going on in the
you had Punchline, you had Clown Killer, you had
there was a
Robins and the Dead World and the Live World and the blah blah blah.
Yeah, like there was a cover, something happening. I mean, they sold books and they had people reading comics, but there was a special edition cover ratio, like a 1 in 25 or whatever, every single week of a Batman book coming out that had that, you know, the artist sketch, you know, rendering cover. I mean, that shit just, by the time, again, if you didn't move that shit and you called yourself trying to send it off to CGC or something, like, yeah, by the time you got that shit back, even if they were moving quickly, that book was worth maybe half of what you could have got for it if you had just sold it like raw right there on the spot.
Yeah. I don't play that game much, and I got stuck with a couple even.
Yeah.
So I've been skipping around, Dino. So
you're fine, dude. It's all good.
All right. I don't know much about this Barbaric from Vault. Anybody familiar?
No, pretty much. I stopped paying attention to what Vault was offering when they stopped being like the hottest thing going about 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I had read a few things, but this is not one of them. I do like Patrick Stewart involved, but you know, that only gives you so much.
trying to find like a synopsis of it. And
I mean, it's Michael Bay too. He's not known for not putting some energy into shit.
All right, let's see.
I gotta use a password to get on Vault Comics.
Yeah, I tried to click that store. Yeah, I think more so there's an issue. I think they locked down the site because of either an issue or they're actively updating the site to get ready for
SDCC.
Yeah, probably. Let's see what's on the
fan. We'll go on Amazon here. It says Owen the Barbarian has been cursed to do good with the remains of his life. His bloodthirsty weapon axe has become his moral compass with a drinking problem. Together they wandered around foredoomed to help any who seek assistance. But there's one thing Owen hates more than life with rules is witches. So kind of like some, I guess you would call it there's
sounds like Sean the Barbarian, man.
Pretty much. It's like 3 volumes and then an extra trade paperback. So I mean they got material. Deadpool meets Game of Thrones.
I hope Patrick Stewart's just voicing the axe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That would be great. All right.
Before we segue off, actually, that does open up a nice little segue into like everybody be prepared for the flood of key collector alerts that will be coming out over the next week because San Diego Comic-Con, there's going to be a lot of people wheeling and dealing, selling stuff, getting things optioned. I mean, everybody, I was there for at least 1 or 2 firsthand seeing people after they had sold or had their shit optioned. I mean, like I want to say it was San Diego of like right before COVID that Scott Snyder got Undiscovered Country sold off to, what was that, Legendary? I think that deal went down at San Diego. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of that stuff happening because that's actually probably for the people in the industry. That is the reason really why they are showing up to SDCC in many cases, that they are trying to hawk their wares to the Netflixes, the Amazon, the Paramounts, the whoever is trying to, get content for their streaming services and or, to take the film. So yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff coming out this week, definitely. Because we're back in true rare form again. Like the show is back to its former glory, definitely.
Yeah. And we got Deadpool Wolverine ready to go too.
Yeah, I struck out hard on that. I really wanted to get tickets to the event they're doing on Thursday night, but hey, more power to you, Timothy.
Did you
the fans are making this one interesting. The axe gets drunk off blood. I could get behind that one.
Did you see they leaked out fake stuff off of Deadpool? All the internet rumors. We learned about that today.
No. I missed anything about it. I've been actively avoiding. After a certain point, I just stopped looking.
Yeah, I don't want any more spoilers.
But no, they put out photos and like with leaking fake stuff to throw people off of cameos and stuff.
I'm sure they did. They have to.
Yeah.
I'm in the no look zone as much as I can at this point.
I tried to be. I watched that last trailer, which I kind of wish I hadn't. Again, one of the worst kept secrets in film, but like it reveals what's her face making her return. So
yeah. I mean, hell, I couldn't even get past The Boys without spoilers in one day.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, like I didn't watch it Wednesday night and I watched it Thursday and I was already getting spoilers in my feed. So, all right. I don't think we talked about Nova.
Yeah, they confirmed at some point. I think it was like as far back as July 3rd. They confirmed that that Sandra Nova is that is who that is that we're seeing in the trailer. So, I mean, I don't know. This feels kind of like I'm not hearing bad things, but it seems like they have no faith in leaving anything to chance or like we're gonna let everything be known because we want you to come see the goddamn movie, and we just don't trust that you will come see it otherwise. So like all the things are being revealed at every chance they get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all know what we want to see. We all know most likely what we're gonna see. And, hopefully we're going to laugh and see some of those things that we've been waiting to see, for 20 years. So,
yeah, fingers crossed.
And the last one is the PSA comic rating. I don't have much to say on this. Do we need another grader?
Eh,
If it gets Golden Age turnaround quicker, fucking CGC.
I bet they're not even going to want to play in that game right now. I mean, I guess they will, but are they going to bring?
It's the same point system as everything else. So.
Well, I guess I just mean, are they bringing anything new to the market as far as? Are they bringing a name that people trust? I guess maybe.
So you kind of talked about it. If the card game people get into this, it could open up a whole new avenue. Because card people have, I know comic book people have money, but card people have ridiculous money.
It's not that they don't know about it. They knew about it in COVID. They know about it. They just, I don't think they care.
I mean, that is a good point too.
I mean, maybe it puts CBCS out of their misery.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Dennis Berger is probably bitching right now at me.
For all of CGC's issues, I just don't see. I mean, don't get me wrong. New players coming to the table is definitely great for the hobby, competition, maybe brings prices down. But there's just too many people who, at this point, the acronym CGC is too synonymous with comic book ratings. Like it's become, Xerox or Kleenex at this point. You say, oh, the book's CGC'd. It's like, well, no, it's CBCS. It's CGC'd.
Yeah.
Like that's just how people it's a verb now at this point. So
it is. I mean, PSA is a good name. I just don't know if it's going to move the needle. I like that they're using the card label and just say fuck it. But other than that,
yeah, we'll see how it plays.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully their grading is on point as their card grading, but we'll see.
It's a learning curve for everybody.
This is true.
All right, Dino, did you have anything else you wanted to add before we do marker report?
Nope. Taking care of it. I love it.
Yeah, you need to show up today. Jeez.
No.
All right, I don't remember what I did. I just like including this one. I love this one and the Batman where they're using machine guns. They always just crack me up.
I mean, for $289, that's a pretty good deal. Like I'd buy it for $289.
It's a book that's been on my want list, so I mean, it was a pretty good deal.
I'm not the biggest Captain. I'm not the biggest Captain Marvel fan, but I mean, that's a pretty dope cover.
Agreed. Yeah. It's just unique, especially for that character. He's not the most. He's got some war coverage, but not nearly as much as Soups and some of the other ones, Let's see. Got a couple of the Ombre Arena books. This is one of the more popular ones with the Doom cover. These are the Duran non-canon stories. I wouldn't say it's a top 5 of the run, but it's probably in the top 10 to 15. People like it. It's got the Doom. If it's truly a find, that's a pretty solid price, especially for a raw copy. So that one was good. This one is honestly just an average run filler one to me. There is a girl on it, but not anything crazy. Nothing screaming for it. So honestly, at $500, that's about where I see most of the sales at. If you don't have like the female character of any kind on the cover, then they get much harder to kind of sell for more than a couple $100. So, but it's good to see a couple of them hit. This is actually from last week, but I just wanted to show it because this is one of there's a Flash, there's this one, and I think there's one other one that were on a Wheaties box, taped inside the Wheaties box, and there's the 4 corners that you see the tape on. I was just in shock to see an 8. This is probably as pristine as you're going to get for one of these, just because that tape, they literally taped it to the to the freaking box. So most of them, the kids just tore it out. This one must have been somebody cut the tape real carefully. But I mean, that's just may as well be a 10 for this book.
Yeah.
Clone Wars, we always like to check in on some of the big boys.
I feel 1300 is so strong with Star Wars. I know Acolyte and stuff, but I mean, it's down. I guess. I mean,
I haven't
content wise.
I just haven't watched it, so I have no ruling on it. But Ashoka's still hot. on the scale of things that people are watching. Just a reminder, there's 158 9/8s of this and 115 9/6s. A 9/8 of it sold last week for $47.28. This one was $1,300. The all-time high for a 9/6 was back in 2021, probably about when things got announced after Mandalorian was hot, and that was $5,800. So we're still probably 25% of the all-time high.
Yeah.
So that's down. I mean, it's up from where it would have been in 19, but way down from its highs. This is one that surprises me. There's two printings of this book at least. I think there's only two. There's a first print and a second print. But it is a tough book. You know, you got the monster collectors on this one. It is a pretty sweet cover. But I was just surprised to see a raw copy go for $800. So wild.
I actually like this cover. I actually might add this to my collection.
At one point, I had a second print 8.0 rated, and it was like $100, and I was like pretty happy to have it. So, this is one I haven't seen in a while. I just haven't actually seen one sell in quite some time. So, Cursed Pirate Girl, Bastain's book, known for its wild art and just being a gorgeous book all around. It's kind of one of those niche books that people just either love or don't know about. And right at $1,000 is a pretty solid for a raw copy. This Deadline got my attention because it was only $200. Well, maybe a tad more. I can't see the US one. Shrunk down too much, but
$266.
$266. Pretty
plus
solid.
30, plus $37, so $300 if you thought there's $37 shipping in it.
What I enjoyed was just it's signed by Hewlett with a sketch. I think somebody got a steal.
Yeah, seriously.
I guess they don't really draw. I guess I don't know this whole maybe not drawing that much. I've never seen that. I guess
I have looked at probably most of the copies of this book that have sold in the last 5 years, and that's the first time I've seen a sketch on one. So I just thought it was cool. I think if you're a big fan, that was a hell of a get for somebody. Got a couple Frazetta books go this week and last. This is my second favorite cover of the run. Yeah, maybe third favorite. This is probably one of the most popular with the bright freaking green planet, the alien on the spaceship. $3,000 for a 5.0. I think it's actually down a bit because I know I sold my run of were mostly in the 2 to 4 range, and I think I got close to $2,000 for a 2.5. So it's a little off. It's probably pace, but not much. I mean, these things are always in play. I found this one was last week for the 3.0. This is my second favorite, I guess. And then a 5.0 sold this week for $3,000. If I were heavy buying mode, I would have grabbed the 5. I let go of my raw that was probably not even a 2 for close to $2,000 at the time. So
I would trade I'd trade my Underworld Crime for a Frazetta Famous Funnies. I guess maybe the first one.
I mean, these are great books. I don't think they ever go out of style, and they were some of the better covers because there's a few that are just fine, but I think there's 4 or 5 of them that are just outstanding, and this one's one of mine. We were talking about covers that hit or don't. This one is one that has had some pretty good staying power. Now, its all-time high was $2,600 back in 22, but really it sells pretty well. You still get 10 to 20 sales a year. We're halfway through the year, and there are about 10 sales on this puppy. It's still holding up pretty well for what it is, and for a character that's kind of fallen to the back burner a little bit. So, not a bad play, as long as you weren't the guy that bought it at $2,600.
Yeah, true story.
This one just intrigued me because it was a newsstand. 9.8 of this one, tough black cover. Almost 400. If you get a non-newsstand of Lobo, it's floating right around 100. So 4x on the newsstand. Honestly, on this book seems pretty damn reasonable for that damn cover there. I mean, it is black as night. Just a cool cover I liked today. Good Atlas zombie horror book. Nothing to add to that one. This is from last week, and I think I've known about this one, but it's not one I think of. Mixed Scene 1 with the first U.S. appearance of Sailor Moon. Kind of cool book. I don't know why I cut off the price, apparently. That was dumbass.
No, I got it. My bad. I saw it and I was like, I didn't
trim that one because I didn't send it indie. That's why.
You said Mixed Scene 1?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I mean, I'm sure there's not that many sales of it, I would assume. Was it CGC?
Yeah. 8.5.
It was. Maybe they haven't sold it yet. Or haven't processed it. Oh, 250.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it just barely made it, but it's only an 8.5. So, again, one of those Sailor Moon's tough. There's not a lot of it out there. So, cool book. I just like this one. It's a little different for Stevens versus some of his other stuff. I mean, it's still got his famous female, but it's a little darker than a lot of his other work. So I like this one. This is one that Chris and I were talking about. I didn't know anything about it. It's apparently a web comic that started back in 2003. Stick figures and Dungeons and Dragons kind of player themed. This particular book is one of, I think, 3 or 4 that were not reprints of webcomics, but original stories in a book. This was 160 pages. It was the most recent one that came out. It's like a prequel. Don't have any idea on the print run, but for close to $400 on a book that's maybe 6 years old, that's pretty impressive. So one of those things that I would not even look twice at. So just kind of add that to your radar if you're ever out in the used bookstore.
I'm going to go to a used bookstore when I go up to Grand Rapids here. It's like a used bookstore and comic store. I bet you I could find it in there. It like really looks unorganized and
that's where you find it, is those weird ass places.
Yeah, absolutely.
This just intrigued me because I've seen a lot of the bagged comics. I don't know that I've seen a Shazam one. So $500 is a pretty firm price on it. But again, people love their unique items, especially when you're collecting something that's generally common. So this is the other foreign sale of the week. Got a lot of chatter. This is one of the 2 Filipino editions. There's the Alomar bookstore, which is the yellow bar. And then there's one with a green bar on top at the logo, and it's the National Bookstore version. The green seems to be a little more rare. It's a little hard to say that, but just collector-wise, there's less of the green seem to be around. Could just be the Alomar version was closer to the military bases, and that's how they've kind of filtered our way. Hard to say there, but considering this is only a 6.0 and sold for over 4K, there's definitely a premium on this foreign edition, as it's thought to be the most rare around. I question it. I think the South African might be a little more rare, but again, both of them are real tough to find. So,
I mean, is that still a strong? I mean, I know 6.0 is $4,000, but is that like is it strong sale? Is that market? Is that?
It was stronger than most expected. It started, I think, at 2K, and everybody thought it was just going to kind of get a one buy it now bid. So it went well. There just aren't a lot of sales on it to say how high will it go. This is definitely a nicer copy. I mean, a lot of them that we have in the market are probably more in the 2 to 4 range. I've heard of a couple people with really nice ones, but there's not a lot. And again, known copies versus actual copies is still a little dicey because there was, military presence there. But I have only heard of, let's say, 20 to 30 copies.
I'm surprised as a 3-bidder and went up to $4,000 when it started at 2, like 3, 4, and then somebody, 2,500, 3 and 4. It's crazy.
I mean, somebody wanted it. And again, it may be the nicest copy floating around for sale. So there aren't a lot of them that pop up. And if they are, they're usually somebody's under a copy, and it's usually a beater. My copy I have is a beater.
So 12 still? Is it 12? I know.
It's 12, but I mean, it's 10 to 12, but it caps out. So up to a certain amount of money, like they're only going to get you for like $400 or $500, maybe $600. Like if you sell like something that's worth like $20,000, $10,000.
Yeah, I know, Brian. He's got everything though.
Oh
yeah. This is one of those books. I personally hate this cover. I don't know why people like it. I think it's just bizarre, but it is one of those kind of ones that people dig. It's the eye gouging and da 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 da. It's a nice copy though, but I just personally hate it, and I just felt like adding it. 9.0 Venom Gold sold for $405. I kind of thought that was a high price, but I think people still pay to add it to their collection. A 9.8 actually sold this month for $1,500. The all-time high for a 9.8 was $2,000. So really, it's holding its value pretty well. It's rare enough. It's not super rare, but rare enough. And then this one was from last week. X-Men Are Hot. A nice Pressman edition of the X-Men 11.
That's pretty. That's a pretty good price. I mean, these at one point were going for like, beat up copies were that price. So
yeah.
I mean, mine I got for steel, but it's still beat up. I mean,
they freaking. It was a tough thing to get. Was that the one that came in the box though? I think that was the more common one. It came in the game, and the other one you had to mail in for.
Yeah, I think this was like the in the game one, I believe.
Yeah, so everybody just got it out, beat it up, and moved on. So the other one's less common, but probably nicer condition because you actually had to order for it. This one came in a box, and kids that were playing the game just moved on. All right. I guess pickups.
Oh, yeah, I got some small stuff over here.
I got pickups too that I've showed in the past, but I'll show them in here too so people can see.
Yeah, so nothing too serious. So
save for SDCC.
Yeah, I mean, I think more my focus, but I mean, some small stuff I found. So clean copies of, oh, hold on.
I was like, it didn't focus at all on that one.
No, I got the stupid blur on. That's why I did that. Hold on, let me kill that function real fast. Background blur off. There we go. So we got a newsstand of Spectacular Spider-Man 27. I mean, honestly, the reason why I bought these because they're not necessarily the rare stuff, but they're all super clean, like absurd. And I'm kicking myself because they were part of a greater collection of stuff that came out with Spider-Man, including a 252, and some other stuff that somebody the day they posted it on social media that they had these books, like somebody came in like 2 hours later and snatched up all the really worthwhile keys. Spectacular Spider-Man 99. So a little spot action. Mm-hmm. And ASM, what number is this? How am I struggling to find the death of Madam Web book.
Oh, okay. But that was the movie, wasn't it? That was a bad guess. Sorry. It was a bad joke.
Yeah, no, you're right. But yeah, I was just looking at this like, they don't actually have. Oh no, 229. There we go. That took me a second to find it. I was like, why is it so hidden on here? Yeah, so nothing too major, but a little something. But yeah, I got San Diego Comic-Con this week, so really holding on the funds to to acquire stuff for there.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to Carter's show this week on Sunday or next Sunday.
Which show is it?
Neo Comic Con in North Olmsted, Ohio.
Is that the one that's got video games too?
I don't believe so. I think it's comics. It's in like a indoor soccer arena.
Okay, I'm gonna look at something. You do your pickups.
Oh yeah, man, I got you. So I picked these up. No big deal. I kind of showed these on me and Carter's channel at the end of the day. One second here. Stuff here. Nothing too crazy. I go to my second in Charles, and I just look for second prints or variants or a collection of 1, 2, or 3 of them. So Deadpool, Dark Reigns, second print variant. It was like $2. You know, no big deal. Exile 6. You know about this, right? No big deal. Marvel of Zombies 3. And these are all from $2 to $5. Some Star Wars stuff because I'm a loser, so I bought some Star Wars stuff. This is the Mattel. It's like $40 or $50, I think, still. So this was $3. So what else do we got here? All that stuff, Podamian stuff. It was number 1 variant. I guess this was like big money. I just scanned books and was like, let's see. Star Wars Vader down. This was only $5. I can say $20. I try to do $20, $30 books. New Mutants in '98. Homage on Star Wars. This is a big hitter book too. And these books are all clean too. That's what I like. Like kind of like Chris. I bought them because they were clean. Some sketch some guy made. Brian Lacey. I mean, it was like $4. So
yeah,
no big deal. More Star Wars stuff. Just kind of breezed past most of the Star Wars stuff. So just a lot of 1 variants, and they were just really cheap. So I just was like, whatever. This is a cool one, obviously. The AF-15 homage, right? Blast and Opacity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this was a $5, super clean. This is like a $50, $60 book.
Oh, those Snoopies, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got this for a whopping $4. So
yeah, those Snoopy variants are tough.
They paid for everything. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
That's a nice
Robert Hack stuff. These ones are expensive, like $8. This one's a better one. This was like $8 too, but still,
yeah,
they sell for good money. Art Germ stuff.
Yeah, that one used to sell a lot of money.
Yeah, Dark Reign second print variant. This is like a $30, $40 book, I think. Still, something for the wife.
Yeah, little Scotty
Young, Cable Deadpool.
All right,
Nice.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, I got that. That was a whopping $4. So somebody had that in a bin, just chilling. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. I just like this foil cover. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Nosy and foil cover for $7. I'll take that. This is the regular cover of it. And then had to go with the Daredevil Turner 100. So
yeah,
$5. I mean, nothing too crazy.
So you're going Saturday to the show or Sunday?
Saturday SummerSlam, Sunday is the show. So we are booked all weekend.
Okay.
I'm gonna drive down Friday at some point when I get out of work, and then.
Well, I thought I was crazy, but at that same complex on Saturday is a console and video game show.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hit that up. Maybe.
I only know because the original art group that does video games was talking about it. So.
I mean, it's only $5 to get in. I'm sure that one's $5 to get in too.
Yeah, I'm just saying if you're bored and you're looking for something to do, it might be worth adding to your list.
Okay. Carter wanted to go comic book shopping, but maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
I'll take these. I'll just throw them in the thing. No, I was bitching earlier about CGC because they sell my Golden Age book. And I called him. I was like, yo, where's my stuff, man? It's been like 15 days and it still says scheduled for grading. She's like, well, I'll give you a credit of $15.
It's SDC week, man.
I know.
You're in con season. You're fucked.
They got it like a month ago.
It's con season. Worst time.
I'm still waiting on some stuff to be checked in that they've had now for fucking like 2 weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks.
See, and then fucking Legs Modern shit just fucking rips through and goes scheduled to grading. I'm like, yeah, immediately.
That's because they don't even have to look at that shit.
I know.
They're probably going to tell you their systems crashed for weeks because of.
I mean,
But
maybe they are. I don't know. I hope I don't get a dreaded purple label. I hope I get a conservative label.
they don't take it that long to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
I
know
think
or they don't.
I would say green over purple, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't really look for
Is
restoration.
this your married cover?
Yeah. Well, I didn't marry it. I just left it detached because it would have been a purple label if I got married. If I left it married,
No, it'll be fine. You'll get like a 1.5 or 2. Maybe a 1.8. Maybe a 1.8. The weird 1.8. Never know when you're gonna get that one.
I mean, I'm not worried about it. It's just I wish I would have had it so I could take it to Comic-Con and use it for the date.
Make a deal.
Yeah, how I do it.
That's all right. It's probably too small show to make a deal.
Oh, there's some big boy books. Somebody had so Carter sent me a pic of, let me see. So this guy's gonna be at the show. And he goes, "Hey, you want this book? I'm out shopping." I said, "Hey, he's gonna be. I'll do trades with him. A 5.5 ASM 129 for $1,000. Is that decent? I don't know. But I got enough books I can make trades on. You know.
Yeah.
Well, if you end up going to the video game show and you see the OA, let me know.
I'll take pictures for you.
Yeah, man. All right. Awesome.
Look at that. Quick and easy. All right, guys. Tuesday tomorrow. Me and myself and Carter. Like you said, SDCC's next week. I'm sure Monday we'll have a hell of a show. Are you even going to be on Monday? You think? Because you're coming back.
I mean, well, hold on. Let me double check. I may be coming. I may make it back in by the skin of my teeth.
You know, at least that whole shit show of the flights was this week and not next week with San Diego.
Truth.
Yeah, no, that would have been absolutely miserable. Go like, oh, looks like I'm hanging out in San Diego for the next like couple days.
Yeah,
my sister went on a cruise and she got stuck in Florida for an extra 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if everything goes the way it's supposed to, I'll be touching down at like 8:00 at night. Probably if things go a little bit better, get in about 7:30. So yeah, I'll be coming in here pretty hot, but I'll be able to make it back in time for the show.
All right, we'll keep it as a TBD.
Yeah. Cool. All right, everybody. We'll check everybody later. And good luck on SDCC, Chris. And I'm sure me and Carter will be doing another show next week, and then we'll talk about SummerSlam and all that good stuff we did. So. Okay. All right, everybody. We'll talk to everybody later. And let me play a little thing, and let's go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. See you later.